So what we're going to be baking today is we're going to be making blueberry coffee cake, and how we're going to do that is we're going to start off with 2 cups all-purpose flour, which I have right there. I have 2 teaspoons of baking soda, which I have in the shot glass, and then I have the salt, which is ½ a teaspoon of salt. And we need 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil, which I have right here. You need 3/4 of a cup of white sugar, which I have right here. You need 1 egg, which I have right here. And you need ½ a cup of milk, which I have pre-measured here. And you also need 1 cup of blueberries, which I have fresh blueberries right here. And since it is that season, it's definitely a recipe to try out. Now for the topping, you'll need separated 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour, which I have right there. You'll need ½ a cup of white sugar, which I have right here, as well as ½ a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, which I have measured out here, and 1/4 of butter softened, and I have right here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to preheat the oven to 375. And I'm going to skip 2 and show you that, and then we're going to skip. So what we're doing now is we're just going to preheat the oven to 375. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our flour, which we have right there, and we're going to measure or mix in the baking soda and the salt. So we're just going to add in the salt right here. And there's the baking soda. And we're going to shift it together. And I'm just going to use my whisk to do that. And once we have it all mixed in together, what we're going to do is we're just going to set it aside. So we're just going to take it and move to the next step. So we're going to move to the next step, and in the next step what we're doing is we're taking in a large bowl, we're going to whisk together the oil, sugar, and the egg. And here's the oil, which we're going to put in there now. And the sugar. Well, and there's our oven letting us know that it's ready. And here's the egg. So we're just going to whisk that together. So I'm going to bring it back up. Turn it on a low setting because it doesn't need to be on high. And we're going to whisk it together. So as you can see, it's still whisking together. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the flour mixture and we're going to mix it in alternatively with the milk. So we're going to add some flour in and then let it absorb some of that. I'm just adding the flour in now. I'm also going to change my mixer attachment in a second here. I have changed the attachment, and now I'm going to add in some milk. Turn it up a little bit. I'm going to add some more flour in there. And I'm going to add in the milk, and it's going to mix together until it incorporates itself with each other. And the good thing about the mixer is it doesn't take long. So I'm just going to fast forward until it's the right texture and show you what it looks like. What I'm doing is I'm taking the container that I plan on baking it in, and I'm taking some paper towel, which I have right here, and a little bit of lard, and I'm just preparing the pan because I don't want it to stick to the bottom. So I'm just going to lightly grease it. That way it comes out nice and easy and I don't have to deal with sticking, because I find sometimes with metal pots or pans things stick to them if you don't watch what you're doing. So you definitely want to prepare the pan. So now that we have that done, what we're going to do is skip to the next step. We're going to add in our blueberries now, and we're just going to fold those in. You don't want to actually mix those in, because if you do, what'll end up happening is you'll break them all. So I'm just going to mix it up and be careful not to break too many of them, and I'll fast forward and show you what that looks like. So now that we have it all mixed up with the blueberries, what we're going to do is take the mixture and we're going to put it into the prepared pan, which I have right here. And I'm just going to dump it out. Oh, this doesn't seem to want to go out. I'm going to have to assist it a little bit. So what we're going to do is use our spatula, and we're going to actually flatten it down a little bit, just to fit the pan a little bit better. And then we're going to make our topping. So just going to fast forward to where we're making our topping, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, it's now time to make the topping. And how we're going to make the topping for this is we're going to, in a large bowl, we're going to combine the 1/3 of a cup of flour that we had pre-measured, which is right here. And also we're going to add in the cinnamon, which we had right here, which was pre-measured. And as well as the sugar. So I'm just going to take a fork. I'm going to do it old school style instead of having to wash my mixer out again. And I'm just going to take a fork and actually mix it up with a fork. So I'm just going to continue to do that until it's thoroughly mixed, and I'll show you what it looks like once it is. So we're at the point now we're going to add in the butter, which is right here, pre-measured, the 1/4 of a cup. And we're going to make this look like crumbs, so I'm using a fork because I don't have a pastry cutter, which I oddly thought I had one, but I don't. So, and what we're going to hope that this looks like is going to be crumbs. And then once we get that right texture, we're going to sprinkle it on the top of the coffee cake. So I'm just going to continue to mix it in with the fork, and I'm going to fast forward and show you what it looks like when it's done. This is what the texture will look like once you mix it in with the butter, and as you can see, it does look like crumbs. So we're going to take it and we're going to sprinkle it on the top of the coffee cake here that we have ready. And I'm just going to continue to do this and fast forward and show you what it looks like just before it goes in the oven. As you can see, the top is covered with the topping. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the oven and preheat. The oven is preheated. So we're going to put it in for 45 minutes. And how we're going to check to see if it's done is we're going to do the toothpick method, which is going to be sticking the toothpick in the center and making sure it comes out clean. And my gardening, homesteading / cooking buddy, Warren, he's going to make a version of it without the blueberries and using a different recipe. So I'm also going to put a link at the bottom. So I'm just going to put this in the oven and fast forward to when I take it out and show you what it looks like. The timers went off, so it's time to check the coffee cake and see how it came out. So I'm just going to pull it out of the oven and poke it with a toothpick and see how it looks. I have a toothpick in there, and I'm just going to pull it out and see if it's clean. Okay, it still has a little bit of residue on it, so I'm just going to put it in for another few minutes. So I just took it out of the oven and I let it go an extra 5 minutes, and I'm just going to cut a piece of it and see what it looks like. And I'm just going to use this spatula, and hopefully it comes out nice and easy. So I'm just going to take it out. Since I'm not using my tripod, I'm going to put the camera down and I'll fast forward and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I cut a piece and I just wanted to show you what the inside of it looks like. And as you can see, it turned out absolutely scrumptious looking. So like, subscribe, and we'll see what I have cooking next.